listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, and John Santucci, the Tooch. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, stayed in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. Pass is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this is better than those things.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Show. It's Championship Sunday, and we're here with you answering all your questions, getting you ready to win your championship. I'm Joe Mandel, the Goon, one of your hosts, and so is John Santucci, the Tooch, that strappingly good-looking fellow over there. Tooch, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Joe. I think we have some breaking news. Alvin Kamara scored again. Or is that?
Yes.
Another touchdown, Joe.
Yeah, Alvin Kamara is still scoring 6 touchdowns. For whatever reason, Sean Payton. Yeah, well, for whatever reason, Sean Payton's didn't let him break the record with 7. He gave it to Taysom Hill instead, which I do not understand. But fantasy owners have nothing to complain. What's that?
I wanted him to get the record, even though I was going against him in one of my games. So
I mean, at that point, you're probably already toast anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's no coming back from a week like that.
Yeah.
It's 66 points, and Alvin Kamara was Santa Claus for a lot of fantasy managers this week. The barkeeper's in the chat room, Joe.
Yeah, how do you overcome it? Although most likely you will not, unless you have some really, really tasty matchups for all your running backs, and the guy you're playing, Kamara, is his only good piece, and the rest of his team is trash. But you probably didn't get to the championship game if the rest of your team is trash. I know your opponent, Aldo, has some very good matchups, including Aaron Jones today in what's going to be a snowy and high winds day for that game. So I think it's going to be an Aaron Jones game. Although, unfortunately, I think you might be toast, my friend.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things. You can't. It's most likely too much to overcome. I mean, you have to have another person on your team get up to 50 at least to even have a chance. But I think the barkeeper's opponent also had Jason Sanders, who kicked like 4 field goals yesterday. I mean, that's pretty. When you're getting 15 to 20 from your kicker, that's just adding on top of the pile.
Yeah, our buddy of the show, Adam Schaum, says he has Kamara and he's still worried because his opponent had Gaskin, who had a great game yesterday.
There you go. So when sometimes you get, you get some guys who could keep you close. So, but a barkeeper knows how I felt the last 2 years. I finished second place in the barroom league twice, but I didn't even come close. I think, what did I finish? 6th in this league.
Hey, so, it wasn't last.
Well, it's my season. I just couldn't overcome whether it was injuries or playing the top scorer every week like that. This will give us plenty of food for thought for next season. Guys like Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, and Dalvin Cook. Those are the guys that kept you in games. Kept you in the season, in the playoffs.
They're going to be big. They're going to be big picks next year. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
We got a great question here in the chat as well from Coach Dish. Decimated by injuries and COVID, Marvin Hall, Tyron Johnson, Gallman, Pollard, Fant, full PPR flex.
Keenan Allen is out, right?
I believe.
I thought I saw this morning, so I'm probably gonna leave I'm probably gonna go with Tyron Johnson again. I like what I've seen from him.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the official inactive report,
Mm-hmm.
and while he's not officially inactive as of yet, he's trending towards being inactive.
I thought I saw Schefter tweet this morning that Keenan Allen wasn't going to play, but
well, let me pull that tweet up real quick.
Let me check it
Adam Schefter. There we go. I'm pulling it up as we speak, gang. Let's see. Alex Smith. Well, here's breaking news. Alex Smith expected to be inactive today for the Washington football team.
Let's see. I know I went by earlier this morning who was not expected to play today. It was 2 hours ago, Joe. Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, and Christian McCaffrey. So I think
there's some big names.
Aldo's going to have to make a move here because Terry McLaurin is in this lineup. He is not expected to play. So maybe we could tell the barkeeper to pick up Tyrone Johnson.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, he did great for you, and you needed him in a pinch. Tooch, he got you 15 points. Yeah. 15 points last week. So,
Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott is supposed to play today, so
still questionable going into this game. But
how about Gallman? Where's he at? He's supposed to be. Devontae Freeman, I think, is back too.
Yeah, I mean, Gallman's the guy there, so I don't think there's any hesitation.
Marvin Hall. Where's Marvin Hall now? I know he's on the Lions, but they cut him. Is he on the Jets now?
Jeez, Marvin Hall, that's a guy I haven't heard about for his
Noah Fant you got to like. I mean, he had a big game last week.
Marvin Hall is on the Browns.
On the Browns, okay. So, right game, wrong team.
Right.
I think
Marvin
Hall is Tyrone Johnson for this one.
I like Johnson, especially with Keenan Allen likely to miss the game.
My second choice might be Fant. I think the Broncos are playing. Are they at the Chargers this week? I think they're playing the Chargers. So
in LA, yeah.
In LA, so
and Tooch,
Fant is a big time target for Locke.
I do have to say, if for some reason Zeke is inactive, Tony Pollard is absolutely the must start on this list. So
yeah, agreed.
Pay attention to that. If he goes pregame and all of a sudden he's not playing, I think Pollard would be the big name here. But I agree with Tooch. I think with Allen out, Tyron Johnson's going to be the big threat there in this game. Of course, that Broncos secondary not very good, and surprisingly, Tooch, they announced that they're bringing back head coach.
Lynn.
Why am I drawing a blank?
Anthony Lynn.
No, for the Broncos.
Oh, Vic Fangio.
Vic Fangio. Jeez, I couldn't spit it out.
Yeah, I heard his job is safe. So,
but long story short, Coach Dish, we're going to say Tyron Johnson. No Keenan Allen today. I think that's the big name there.
I think so. And then after that, it would be Pollard or Fant.
Yep, Pollard if Zeke's out, and then Fant if not. And then our buddy Chris Gonzalez here in the chat, Tooch. Davis or Henderson this week. Murray let me down so far.
Darrell Henderson, right?
I'm assuming it's Darrell Henderson and probably Corey Davis at this point.
I'm going to take Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, but especially because, and this is another thing for people, Cam Akers is out again this week. So I think Henderson is the guy you want to play.
And Corey Davis is going against a good Packers secondary with weather factors surrounding that game. So,
yeah, if you missed the top of the show, guys, we did talk about Titans at Packers. There's supposed to be pretty decent snow and high winds in that game. That passing game will definitely be affected. So if you have other options, we're imploring you to take those. And we're getting lots of questions, too, which this is great. It's Championship Sunday, boys. Let's get pumped up. We got a question here from Wizard of This Place. Full PPR flex, Marvin Hall, Gallman, Mooney, or Tanyan? Oh, wait, JD, Jonathan.
J.D. McKissick.
I'm assuming it's J.D. McKissick.
But Antonio Gibson's supposed to be back. Wow.
Still questionable, though, with turf toe. It is possible
I'll take Mooney. For me, it's Mooney. The Jaguars suck.
Yeah, it's Mooney or Marvin Hall. Marvin Hall is supposed to have a bigger role this week for the Browns. But Mooney has a great matchup against the Jags secondary. He scored last week, and Tooch, like we said, he should have scored twice.
He should have scored twice last week. Gallman is kind of intriguing, though. He does get a lot of touches. I don't know what's going to happen with Devontae Freeman back. If they try to sprinkle in Freeman, I think that would be a mistake because Gallman's a better player right now. Freeman just hasn't done anything this season to,
Yeah, I think Mooney's the safest play out of here. That said, if Antonio Gibson does not go today for the football team, it's a J.D. McKissick kind of game. Without Alex Smith in the lineup again, I do like J.D. McKissick still. So I kind of lean McKissick, but I think Mooney's probably going to score at least once today, maybe twice. With that Bears offense now with their destiny in their own hands, they win out, they make the playoffs. They got a lot to play for. I'm sure they're going to be fired up. I like Darnell Mooney out of that list.
Yeah, Giants are playing the Ravens, which is a pretty good defense.
Yeah, that's why I would stay away from Gallman for sure.
I think you got a potential for some high scoring in that Bears-Jaguars game. McKissick needs a good play, but Antonio Gibson is supposed to play.
Right. Like I said, if he doesn't, then you're going to go with McKissick. I still like him, but I just think he's more of a flex. He's a running back, too, if there's no Gibson. But going back to Gonzo's question, Tooch, he was talking about Mike Davis.
Mike Davis. Oh, okay. So Mike Davis is playing Washington.
The Panthers are going up against the football team.
Right.
Henderson has
Henderson's playing the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's got a better matchup, but they've been better against the run as of late. I just think Davis gets a bigger workload. If I had to pick, I'd say I'd go Mike Davis, even though I like the Washington defense. I just think Davis is better in PPR, and I know Gonzo is in a PPR league. So,
yeah, that's a tough call. Henderson's a more explosive player and can give you those explosive plays. He also splits time with Malcolm Brown.
We've been talking about it. We've been spouting it. You're going to stick with the studs you can, and who has been carrying teams all year long? Mike Davis. This is a guy who most people that picked him up probably made the playoffs. So,
yeah. I like both these guys today. It's probably a coin toss. A coin toss. It's probably a coin toss, folks. But
that's all right. And our buddy Aldo, of course, talking about what we were just saying. Dwayne Haskins is going to start today for the football team. Alex Smith not quite ready.
There was rumblings with that because last night the coach, Ron Rivera, came out and said that Alex Smith probably couldn't do all the things that they needed him to do for this game.
Well, did you see that about all the stuff going on with Haskins? I mean, earlier last week he went to a birthday party with strippers where there was no face masks, and it's his second COVID violation going out without a face mask. He was stripped of the captain title, and he's no longer a captain, and he's still going to get the start because they don't really have anything better.
I would say he's probably no longer on the team after this season.
I would agree with that 100%. I mean, you have no reason to trust the kid. Obviously, he's going to get the start today.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. But we do know that Washington defense is a good flyer today.
So there's guys out there that Washington could pick up this offseason. There's going to be players out there. I mean, there's a big name for quarterback free agent. Matthew Stafford's going to be free agent. Our own Mitch Trubisky is going to be a free agent. So,
yeah, well, there's been some. We'll see what he does the next 2 games. He might get himself a contract.
And the Jaguars likely to have the first overall pick. They're probably going to take Trevor Lawrence.
I would imagine.
If they do, Gardner Minshew might be looking for another team. And that's
a sweet stash.
Yeah, that's a pretty good play. I mean, you can win with Minshew. You put the right surrounding cast around him.
Absolutely, and our buddy Ron Rupp now in the chat. David Johnson or Zeke?
David Johnson for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. David Johnson. The Texans today playing the Bengals.
Bengals run defenses. They're not terrible. They're not great though. But I mean,
but we do have Duke Johnson who's banged up with that neck injury. So I do think it's
banged up too.
Yeah, and then Tony Pollard might end up taking the lion's share. I say David Johnson for sure, Ron.
Yep.
And without further ado, everyone's here for the inactive report, Tooch. And
how about Joe? Are you still alive in any championships?
I am. I am in Adam Rank in the NFL
Network. Right.
His
How's that
Kitchen
going, man?
League.
The other guy had Darren Waller, who had some big plays last night. What a great game too!
Yeah, that was a great game.
Great game.
I unfortunately had Kyler Murray yesterday.
But,
he did okay, but he got hurt.
Can I just say that, fantasy points on the season, Kyler Murray is the number 1 fantasy scoring player of all this season. So, I mean,
legs and arm.
So, going forward, looking at next season, he's going to be a year older, a year longer in the system.
Probably a 3rd or 4th round pick for most people.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had to start him, Joe. I mean, he brought you.
I was between him and Herbert, and I went.
Yeah, I liked Herbert. That's just for the record.
I know you did.
Tuesday I said I liked Herbert, but I mean, you had to stick with the horse that brought you there. That was what I was saying.
Yeah, he ended up getting me 15 fantasy points, so I mean he could have been worse. I'm currently leading in the championship game. Tooch, the guy I played against had Waller.
Yeah,
Ayuk,
he's got a tough
Fournette. Team. He had Ayuk, Waller, and Fournette, and has 35.9 points. I had Murray, Josh Jacobs, and Chris Godwin, and I have 41.68. But unfortunately, he has Patrick Mahomes today against the Falcons. He also has Tyreek Hill against the Falcons. Yeah. Darrell Henderson against the Seahawks. Metcalf against the Rams, which is probably okay for me. Zerline and the Bills defense. I'm still in it, Tooch. It's not over because I also have our buddy Nick Chubb against the Jets, a matchup that I've been talking about all week that I'm excited about.
Matchup here.
If you have Nick Chubb, you better be starting him.
You got some good wide receivers, right? Hopkins.
I do. I had Godwin, who did well. No, I don't have Hopkins. I have Deontay Johnson currently in the lineup against Indy. I've been going back and forth all week if I'm going to start him or not.
Right.
I have Logan Thomas at tight end, who I love this week. He has Mahomes, so I went and picked up Sammy Watkins against the Falcons today. I think that's a good play to kind of offset his Patrick Mahomes.
I talked about that on Tuesday. Talked about how I like Sammy Watkins as a pickup, against what you and I talked about will be probably a high scoring. And we talked about how the Saints and Vikings would be one of the high scoring game. And there was 80 points, 85 points scored in that game. That was one of our fantasy gold games, Joe. Saints and Vikings. So, and then I talked about how I thought Sammy Watkins would be a good pickup.
Absolutely.
Because, there's going to be a lot of scoring. And Atlanta's one of the worst teams, if not the worst, to get, against the pass.
Absolutely. And then I picked up the Bills kicker, who's been great for me the last month.
Yes, he has.
Tyler Bass has been scoring a lot of points.
You and I both were on him. I have him too in a bunch of teams. I also have Jason Sanders. Those two kids looking towards next year. When we do our recap show, we can talk a little bit about kickers. I guess we have to. But I mean, Tyler Bass and Jason Sanders are two. They're almost. I wouldn't be surprised if they outscored guys like Zerline and Tucker.
They probably did. I'm sure they did on paper. So then I got the football team defense. I'm taking a flyer on against the Panthers. I'm just really right now, it's do I start Deontay Johnson against the Colts? I've been dancing on it all week. On my bench, I have Cole Beasley, who's going against New England. That's my sit of the week. I don't like Beasley's matchup. Last time he played New England, Beasley had 2 points.
Okay.
So I don't want a repeat of that.
I'm with you.
I have Alan Lazard on my bench because the weather out there in Green Bay. I mean, really right now, it's between Deontay Johnson and Jacoby Myers, who's playing Buffalo, and Sterling Shepard against Baltimore, which I'm not going to do. So right now it's basically Myers versus Johnson. I'm going with the talent.
Go Johnson, man.
I'm going Johnson.
He's a target machine.
Yep, that's kind of where I'm at.
I know it's going to be a low-scoring game, but just out of your players, I mean, you say you had Sammy Watkins too? He's already in the lineup, right?
I have Watkins in the lineup already, yeah.
I like that.
It's the only way I have a chance against this guy.
For sure.
Mahomes, if he throws to Watkins, if he scores a touchdown, it'll help offset it. I have a 6-point lead. We each had 3 players go already. That might be what I need is that Sammy Watkins. So that's what I'm doing.
Your tight end went already?
Yeah, I got Logan Thomas. I have Logan Thomas today.
Mm-hmm. I had the choice in that league of playing Kittle or Gronkowski. Unfortunately, I was like, I'm just going to play Kittle because it's the only chance I'll get to play him. But yeah, I would have played both of them, but Rank's league only doesn't allow a flex tight end.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Rank, our buddy Adam Rank in the offseason.
I would have played both of them.
In Rank's league, our wide receiver, our flex spot is only running back or wide out. There's no tight end.
I wanted to play both of them.
Like I have Logan Thomas and Mark Andrews. I would have put Andrews in the flex.
I like Gronkowski better than Kittle, to be honest. But I wanted to play Kittle just because I didn't get to play him all year. And I'm just like, I'm not going to win anyways because he has Kamara. So I'm just going to play Kittle. But
Adam making a good point in the chat how Deontay Johnson was my guy preseason. Don't turn your back on him now. And that reminds me, Tooch, we did have a bet preseason, Tooch, that I said that I thought Deontay would lead the team in receiving, and you said you thought it would be Juju. Mm-hmm. And the winner would get a bottle of whiskey, so we're going to have to look at those numbers.
All right. I think I'll be sending a bottle your way. So Juju had a little fall from grace.
Did you see him get destroyed last week?
He did some dancing, then he got lit up. Now he's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit with his teammates.
Did you see that he announced he'll no longer be dancing on the logos?
Yep, that's a good plan. I mean, I would have initiated that plan at the beginning of the season, but that's just me. And we saw, Terrell Owens do it one year, right?
Yeah. Well, Tio,
ran
classic.
out Cowboys star and spun the ball, and the rest of the team came out after him. But the Cowboys,
classic T.O. But Tooch, let's get to the inactives report because we do have the official report starting to roll in here. We do have official inactives out for the Chiefs and Falcons game. Big name here, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, inactive for this game. He is officially out, Tooch.
Yeah, we figured. They're resting him for the playoffs. There's no need to play him.
Yeah, they're in. They don't have to worry about that. So he's out.
Le'Veon, you've got Daryl Williams.
Yeah, so those two guys should have a good day against the Falcons. I like both of them.
Yeah.
Both of them I like in a flex role. For the Falcons, Julio Jones out again, Tooch. So that means it's another Kelvin Ridley, Russell Gage game. We even like a tight end, Hayden Hurst.
With Ridley had this season, great season. Before the season, there was some doubt as to whether Calvin Ridley would justify his high draft position and being a number one receiver on a fantasy manager's roster. And I think there's no question that he was able to be a number one receiver. And who knows what's going to happen with Julio in the offseason. If Julio is gone, I still like Calvin next year to put up some good numbers.
Yep. And moving on, Tooch, to the Bengals at Texans game. Inactives officially out. Tooch, Cincinnati, Tyler Boyd out for this game.
Saw that. Yeah.
So he's officially inactive.
I had him on teams because he's just so consistent. The floor is great for Tyler Boyd.
And then we were just talking about David Johnson being a great play today. He's an even better play now because both Duke Johnson and C.J. Prosise are going to miss this game, Tooch.
I told you. I love that. Love that. Love David Johnson today. It's a great daily fantasy play, too.
Yes, a daily fantasy, and he's probably really cheap in daily fantasy. I might have to I might have to make a lineup with him this week. I like it. And then we got the Bears and Jaguars inactives, Tooch. Fantasy-wise, no one of note on the Bears side. But on the Jags, one of the biggest names, the biggest surprise names in fantasy this year, Tooch, James Robinson, going to miss this game.
Oh, man.
He's officially out.
That's tough. So, I mean, the Jaguars, they have Chris Thompson. I imagine I know he's back. So imagine he'll get some play. And then the other guy I think is Raquel Armstead. But I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think he's been activated from the COVID list yet.
Right. So do we know who's getting the start in Jackson? That would be a pretty sneaky pickup.
So I'm looking at the depth. I'm looking at the
against the
I have the depth chart here, Tooch, for the second on the depth chart behind James Robinson is Divine Ezigbo.
Yeah, okay.
Followed by Chris Thompson. So Ezigbo is probably the guy you want to play here.
I agree. He's a good receiver too on the backfield. So I imagine Chris Thompson's probably going to get third down work, but Ezigbo you could still throw to him on first and second. So yeah, that's a sneaky pickup. If
especially in daily fantasy, Ezigbo available in a lot of leagues. The Bears' defense has not been great against the run this year, Tooch, although they are getting a little bit tighter over the last couple weeks. Again, Ezigbo could be a really sneaky pick.
I agree. I'm looking up to see if he's available in one of my leagues. I'm playing Sony Michel or Divine Ezigbo, Joe. I like the Sony Michel matchup today. I think he's a good play, but he is available, Joe.
Well, there you go.
And they're projecting him for 13 points today. Not bad. I think I'm going to pick him up. Why not?
Absolutely. And we actually got a Twitter question from one of our oldest followers on Twitter, Marley Reincarnated. This is a guy I used to work with at Sox Park. He still works there. He sells hot dogs. He's a great guy. Charles is a great guy. He said, Fantasy Football Goon, Henderson, Lamb, or Singletary. I need one flex. I think you got to go with Henderson. I mean, he's got a great matchup. There's no Cam Akers. I think it's the way to go.
I love it. I think it's the way to go, too.
So we do appreciate that question, Charles. Good luck in your matchup, your championship. He's been riding the Fantasy Football Goon train for a long time, and we do appreciate that.
Thank you.
We got a handful of questions here from our buddy Joey Perp. Should I drop the Rams defense for the Bears defense?
The Rams are playing Seattle. I mean, they had a pretty good game against the Seahawks last time.
I like the Rams defense. I
like both of them. I think Jaguars. I don't know. It's tough.
The Rams have a much better secondary, so I would stick with the Rams.
I think
personally.
So and the
as
Rams
a Bear fan, that hurts to say, but it's true.
Are they at home, the Rams?
I do have the schedule in front of me. The Rams are on the road in Seattle.
Okay. So I might. Bears are at home, right? No, Bears are on the road too.
The Bears are in Jacksonville.
Yeah, so it's two road defenses. Man, I probably would stick with the Rams defense, but it's close. I mean, the Bears defense, they got to shut down. I think it's probably 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It'll be close.
Yeah, it's close, but I'd stick with the Rams. I just think they've been better overall all year long, so I love that. So good. Thanks for the question, Joey. And I know you got another one here, and this is a great question. Gio? Oops, wrong question. Gio or Zeke? It's tough.
No Joe Mixon, right?
No, as far as I know, there's no Joe Mixon.
I'm going to go with Gio because the Houston can't stop anybody on the ground.
And Zeke is banged up. Gio had a great game. He's been playing much better.
Last game.
And let's be honest, Gio Bernard has probably the best mustache in all of football right now.
Better than Minshew?
I would agree. I think so. Have you seen it?
Oh, that's awesome.
Hang on, I'm going to pull it up here. So sidetrack for a side. Yeah, so it's pretty excellent. For those of you who can't see it, Tooch, there you go, dude.
Let's see it. Oh, I love it, man. That's a great mustache.
It's pretty amazing.
That is
So let's
awesome.
be honest, Gio Bernard, the best mustache in all of football.
I love it.
He looks. I'm trying to put my finger on who he looks like. I just can't. Well, anyway, we got plenty more questions, and let's go through the rest of the inactives, and we'll go and hit some more of these questions, too.
Yeah. Let's get those inactives.
Going down to Colts at Steelers, Tooch. There's a lot of defensive players out for the Steelers, which is problematic.
You and I talked about that before the show.
That Steelers defense really banged up. I do not love them at all this week. But Tooch, there is a surprise inactive. The kicker, Chris Boswell, inactive for this game.
Wow.
So if you have Chris Boswell,
shifted, the Vegas line shifted after that, because this is one of those games that could come down to a field goal,
Absolutely. So he's out. So if you have him, get him on your bench, pick up another kicker.
In Indianapolis, right?
They're in Pittsburgh.
Oh, they're in Pittsburgh. Okay. Phillip Rivers, one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack, just because he gets rid of the ball so fast. It's not like he's mobile or anything. He just gets rid of the ball. So, I'm thinking about taking the under in the Colts in this one. It's like, right?
Yeah, I would agree that the Steelers are trending the wrong direction.
Yeah.
A lot of defensive players out for them. And for the Colts, no one of fantasy relevance missing from this game. So the Colts are good to go. Our next game on this list, Tooch, Browns at Jets. Not really anyone super of note going to miss this one. I'm looking here at both teams, and there's no one of fantasy relevance really, unless you're in a super deep league, you probably don't have Donovan Peoples-Jones on your team. He's the only name that people would know that's going to be inactive for the Browns. So you're good to go, and you're probably not playing many Jets anyway in your fantasy championship unless it's Jameson Crowder or Brashad Perriman.
Right. Yeah, there's nobody.
Moving down to the Giants at Ravens game, Tooch. Golden Tate is inactive for this game with a calf injury. I don't recall him being on the injury report earlier this week, but he is indeed out for this game.
Well, Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram is a good play, just because the Ravens aren't that good against the tight end. So I like that matchup now. Even Tate, is out. So. Mm-hmm.
Well, and it's worth noting the Marcus Peters is inactive for this game for Baltimore. So,
gotta like the Sterling Shepard matchup too.
I have Sterling Shepard in my NFL league, Tooch, but I think I'm still going to go with Deontay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Mark Ingram inactive for this game. The guy just cannot get healthy, Tooch. So, looks like it's another Dobbins and
Gus the Bus.
Thank you, Gus the Bus Edwards game.
Man,
and that's really it for the early games, Tooch.
Forward to next season, you got to like a player like J.K. Dobbins. Some of these young running backs next year are really going to influence your fantasy drafting. So when Fantasy Football Goon does its season previews, put that on your calendar.
Oh, absolutely. We'll be talking about all that stuff once it comes around.
Mm-hmm.
And Tooch, there's a couple inactives that are already out for the afternoon games. For the Broncos, Phillip Lindsay is inactive. He has been placed on IR, Tooch, with a knee and hip injury. So you will not see him again the rest of the season.
Melvin Gordon today.
It's definitely a great day for Melvin Gordon going against the Chargers. Also a revenge game for Melvin Gordon.
That's true, man. I see that the barkeeper needs Melvin Gordon to have a big game. Melvin Gordon could get him, say, 35 points, and then
Aldo could have a fighting chance if Gordon goes off.
He's got Jalen Hurts, I think, is his quarterback.
Yeah, Aldo's got a good squad.
So Hurts could put up 35. Those two players kind of equal up to Kamara. Then you have to hope, you get some solid production from the rest of your bench.
Yep.
There's still a chance. it's going to be tough, but
No doubt, brother. And then the only other inactive that's already out is for the Rams game later. Cam Akers inactive for that game, like we mentioned, Tooch. So that, of course, you're going to have Henderson and Malcolm Brown as the lead backs.
Can we talk about some of the playoff teams that are fighting for playoffs? Right.
Yep, just one last inactive for the Seahawks game. DJ Dallas is inactive for that game, Tooch.
Right. You had the Saints. They're on top of their division. They played and won. The Buccaneers look like they have clinched a wild card.
Yep, they've clinched a playoff spot.
The Dolphins, I think they've clinched a playoff spot.
What a pass by Fitzpatrick at the end of that game.
Those face masks being grabbed, right?
A no-look pass.
And then the Cardinals are still alive. The Ravens are looking at a wild card. The Browns are still alive, I think. Mm-hmm. Bears, we mentioned their hometown Bears. Steelers, Broncos and Chargers likely out of it. Rams and Seahawks. Seahawks are still in it, right, Joe?
Yes, sir.
And you have Eagles and Cowboys, the NFC East. All the teams are still alive, correct?
Dumpster fire, yeah.
So those games will all be relevant. The Bills have locked up a spot. The Titans, I think, are they on top of that division, the Titans?
Yes, sir.
So lots of fantasy, not only fantasy relevance, but NFL playoff relevance today.
And with everyone tuned in, we are doing a Fantasy Football Goon NFL.com playoff challenge that you can get in if you want to send us a note on Twitter at FFBGoon, at Joe Mandel, at Santucci_John. We'd love to get you guys in. It's going to be $5 a person. Winner takes all for the Fantasy Playoff Challenge. Basically, you pick players that are in the playoffs every week, and there's some strategery involved. That's right, I said strategery, not strategy. Make sure you tune in and let us know if you want to play there. But we do have a good question here from Von Hook, Tooch. David Johnson or Metcalf as my flex.
Is this PPR or standard?
It doesn't say. Von, if you could let us know if you're still with us, if it's PPR or not.
He's got DK Metcalf as his third wide receiver. He's got some pretty good wide receivers. But I mean, it's hard to sit DK. But I love David Johnson today. I think he's got a fantastic matchup. There's nobody but him. He's going to get so many touches. So I'm going to stick with Johnson.
I have a hard time advising anybody to sit DK Metcalf. He's just too explosive. He's arguably the best receiver in football. The Rams haven't given up points this year. I don't think today is going to be any different. I just cannot advise starting anyone over DK. It's championship week. You got to stick with your stud. Because, I mean, I'd much rather lose with DK in my lineup than David Johnson in my lineup.
That's true.
So if I'm going down, I'm going to go down with DK. So I'd say take DK.
I'd like to know who the other wide receivers are.
Yeah, I'm curious what the rest of your team looks like, but you can't. I don't think you can bench DK.
That's what I said. I love Johnson's matchup though. Hurts or Tannehill? I'm going to take Hurts.
Yeah, I like Hurts as well. I mean, he's going against the Cowboys. How could you not like that?
And it's not going to have the weather factor that the Packers and Titans are going to have. I mean, Tannehill is so solid. I get it, but I think this game with the weather, the wind, and the snow, they're going to just run Derrick Henry as much as they can. It's the Packers are terrible against the run. This is like, you might just see Tannehill handing off, 25, 30 times today. So
Von responded back at his PPR.
Okay. So, I'd like to know who the other wide receivers are still. But, I mean, Johnson's going to get a lot of touches. Metcalf is going against a tough Rams number one defense in the NFL.
There really is nobody else around Johnson this week either, with Procise also inactive.
Yeah. Johnson might catch 8-9 balls today.
It's possible. Like I said, if I make it to the championship, I'm going to take the guy that rode me there, and that's DK.
I mean, Russell Wilson got sacked a lot the last time these two teams played, but That's I hear what you're saying, Joe.
No.
It's tough. I wish I knew who the other guys are. The wide receivers. Joey's got T.Y. Hilton or T. Higgins. I'm going to take Higgins without Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, there's no Boyd, so Higgins is like basically the number one. Texans secondary horrendous, so I'd say Higgins as well.
I like Higgins. I think that'll be a higher scoring game. Some more chances for Higgins to score. Hilton's pretty good, but
Ryan Voigt wants to know Hunt or Carson PPR.
It's tough. It's a tough call. I think I'll take Hunt.
Yeah, I'll take Hunt as well.
Carson is good too, but that Rams defense is no pushover.
There's no DJ Dallas either, so you're going to see more of Carson.
Carson's a pretty good receiver too.
I like them both.
I don't know.
Kareem Hunt's going against the Jets. That's a great matchup.
Yeah.
So if they get up big, I think they might put Chubb on the sideline and let Hunt get some carries. So I think it's a Hunt day.
My first inclination is Hunt.
Yep, I'm with you. What about Emmons, Sizzle 1, Elliott, Mike Williams, and T.Y. Pick 2.
Jeez. Well, I'll take T.Y. as 1.
Yeah, banged up Steelers secondary.
And man, Elliott is, he's banged up. There's no reason for them not to play Pollard.
Right. I don't think Zeke's going to see the volume that you're used to seeing out of Zeke. So if I had to pick the two, I guess I would go Hilton and Mike Williams. I just don't like what I've seen out of Zeke.
I would too. Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, because at one point this season I did own Zeke in Guillotine, and he's part of the reason I got chopped. So
I had him too. I had him in the Barroom League. He was my first round pick. I had number 3 pick. So
we feel your pain, Trey. The Lions decided to not show up at all in that game. Swift was a guy we thought was really going to turn it on the second half of the season. He had some great games and he had some duds, and that whole team was a dud yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's a sad thing for fantasy owners, and unfortunately, it turned out the way it did. I was lucky enough to be able to start Godwin in one league, but Godwin was a beast in the first half and he disappeared in the second. So Mike Williams, I think he had like 13 or 14 targets in that game, 2 touchdowns.
Mike Evans.
That's what I meant to say. Mike Evans, thanks.
Yep, Mike Evans exploded. If you're going against Kamara and Evans and that's like that, you're
tough. Connor says he's not in the playoffs anymore. He's China, just worried about keepers for next season. I will have Fuller and James Robinson, Cortland Sutton, and Jalen Hurts and Montgomery. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Between James Robinson and David Montgomery next year, if the Bears do anything to help out the O-line even more, they get a new quarterback. Who knows what they're going to do in the offseason. When maybe A-Rob comes back, maybe he doesn't. There's a lot of big names out there, Tooch, and I do like Connor's team for keepers. That's good stuff.
Cortland Sutton, man, he would have had a great – look, you saw what Tim Patrick did. That was all supposed to be Cortland Sutton, man. It would have been – Cortland Sutton would have done what Tim Patrick did, but better, that was I had Sutton on a few teams. I had to get rid of him when he got injured.
Connor said he can only pick 2 to keep.
Okay.
So who are you choosing here? So he's got Fuller, Robinson, Montgomery, and Hurts.
I'm keeping Robinson and probably Montgomery just because the running backs are so hard to find.
Running backs, especially bell cow running backs, are hard to find in this league.
Yep. Robinson and Montgomery, those are 2 bell cows.
And most importantly, once Montgomery got healthy, he stayed healthy. And James Robinson has been healthy the whole season except for this week. He'll have the whole offseason to get back together.
Yeah.
These are 2 guys that are just immensely talented. wide receivers you can find in the draft. Will Fuller's notoriously injured. This season's no exception. And, of course, he had the suspension for the PEDs as well. Cortland Sutton, another guy that's dealing with injuries this year.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts, you don't know what you're going to see out of him next season. I don't get me wrong, he's an exciting young player. I would keep him. I would probably keep him, but you have two amazing running backs. I don't think you can pass up on that.
Right. The Hurts is one that I would like to keep, but I mean, you're going to have a chance to pick up quarterbacks,
Yeah, I mean, these two guys, Montgomery and Robinson, have really proven themselves this season.
They're harder to replace than the quarterback. That's the point, Joe.
Absolutely. That's what you got to go for when you got a keeper. So, and just look at what Robinson did on a terrible team. Imagine what he can do if he's got Tyler Lawrence.
There you go. Yep.
So, I mean, I love that perspective for sure. So, long story short, Connor, you're keeping your running backs, James Robinson and David Montgomery.
Love it. Got lots of questions today, huh?
Yeah, lots of questions. Connor's like, do you think they'll draft a running back for James Robinson? I don't. He's been so good this year.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, to back him up, maybe a late round pick to back him up.
But Zigbo's been great behind him. I mean, they also have Armstead, who's been on the COVID list all year.
Yep.
He'll probably come back next year.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the starter. I mean, Armstead's a talented guy too. So I really don't think that the Jaguars have a need at running back.
I don't either.
I think they're going to go quarterback. They might draft a couple more receivers. They definitely could use some O-line help.
Offensive line and defense.
The secondary needs a lot of help.
So here's the thing with James Robinson. I know that this is a guy that before the draft last year, our friend of the barroom, Barrelissimo, he sent me tape on James Robinson. He's like, just look at this kid. There's a lot to like about this kid. He does all the little things. He's not flashy. He's not going to break the long runs, take it to the house, but he'll break some explosive plays.
He runs hard, man.
He runs hard. He's a great receiver. He's shifty in the hole. That his first move to get free when he's carrying the ball, between the tackles, his first move gets the positive yardage. And then, Barrelissimo is all over him. He wanted the Bears to pick him up as undrafted free agent. And you see what the kid did. I looked at him too, and I was like, man, this kid, how did I miss he's played for Illinois State? He's a kid from Rockford, Illinois. This is a kid that just does everything. He can do it all. He may not be, the best in the league at each one of those things, but he's got a high level of production at all of those things that they have to do: pass protection, receiving, running between the tackles, running on the goal line. He's just an all-around player, and I think Jacksonville was stupid to replace him.
Yeah, I don't see them drafting anybody. I think they can use help in a lot of other places. Running back was a exclamation point for them this season, so I'm not worried about that at all. Tooch, let's go through. You want to go through? Oh, we got a question here. I'm going to go ahead and take this question here real quick from Joseph Ayala. Mike Davis or Le'Veon Bell is a flex?
Man, this is a tough call. I'm going to go with Mike Davis just because Bell has Daryl Williams as an option on the goal line. So
Mike Davis is pretty much by himself.
Right. If Davis is going to get those carries on the goal line more than Bell. Bell might come out for the goal line, and it would be Daryl Williams. Daryl Williams is pretty good goal line back. Le'Veon Bell is pretty good goal line back too. To me, he dances around a little bit too much behind the line of scrimmage. Bell's the kind of guy you're going to use in pass protection or pass receiving out of the backfield. But I'll take Davis.
Yep, I'll take Davis as well. He's proven it. He's carried a lot of teams this year. When they lost McCaffrey or whoever picked him up, got a pleasant surprise.
If it were PPR, I'd take Bell, though.
I don't know. I still think I like Davis. He's going to catch some balls, too.
I just really want to see what Le'Veon Bell could do.
Bell hasn't shown anything.
He hasn't shown anything. He's got a great matchup today, and there's no Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'd really like to see what he can do. I'm interested, but
I do like Bell. I don't like him better than Davis.
If it's standard, Davis is going to get the more goal line opportunities than Bell.
Well, and I look at it this way: Bell is going to score more Davis is more likely to score more touchdowns than Bell today.
Yep.
And if I'm in a fantasy championship game, that's what I want.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Davis is going to give you, like a 30-point Christian McCaffrey game. He might. But Bell.
But Bell could also put up 2 points. He's done it numerous times.
I was going to say Bell could give you 3 points. So, I don't see Bell, getting as many goal line carries as Davis.
Yeah. So for that reason, we're both going to go with Davis.
It'll be interesting to see where Le'Veon Bell lands in the offseason.
Yeah, that would be very interesting. But Tooch, let's talk about the fantasy goal games.
Yeah, flash those up there. Let's see. So Vikings at Saints, 85 points scored. Joe, we were pretty on with that one.
Yeah, I mean the over/under was 51.5. The Saints did it by themselves.
Yeah, did you play the over in that game?
I played the Saints -7 and the over, so I won.
So that was a good one, man. That was a great call. I think you and I talked on Tuesday about how I like that game. I said there might be 80 points scored in that game, but
we said the same. We said the same thing about the Buccaneers, but who would have known? All the points were scored by the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty much.
They still went over for 54 points in that game scored. I think the over/under was 51.5.
Yes, it was.
We still got 2 fantasy goal games, maybe 3 of them left. We have Falcons at Chiefs, Broncos at Chargers, and the Titans at Packers. Now, the Titans at Packers might not be as big of a game as we expect with the weather.
It'll be a big running game.
It'll be a big running game at 2 great running backs, and this one, Aaron Jones and Derrick Henry. And then, the Bears at Jaguars, I think, could put up 50, 60 points in this game. If anything, I mean, the Jaguars might not put up as many points. Just the Bears' defense is tough. So, did they say they're going with Mike Glennon again today too?
Yep, Mike Glennon getting the start for the Jags. Is it going to be a revenge game, Tooch?
I got to tell you, I like Minshew puts up more points, in my opinion. He
me too.
Has more time, and gets those broken plays. So I would say that less chance for higher points with Glennon.
Yeah.
We got another question, Joe?
Yeah, Joe in the chat, he says, I have Keenan Allen. He's hurt. What do you think about starting Sammy Watkins? We were talking about it a little bit earlier. I love Watkins today. Going up against the worst secondary in the league in Atlanta. Watkins is a guy that's been coming on stronger. Mahomes has been targeting him.
So here's the thing. The Falcons will probably roll coverage towards Tyreek Hill.
Absolutely.
Safety, which could open up some stuff for Sammy Watkins. I got to tell you, though.
Tooch, we lost your mic again. That's the strain. That happened last week, too. That is bizarre. Well, while you're getting your audio back, I'm looking up Watkins' target numbers from the last couple of weeks. Let's take a quick look here while Tooch tries to get his audio back.
Hello.
Against Tampa Bay in Week 12, he had 7 targets. In Denver, he had 6. Miami he had 3. Last week in New Orleans, Tyreek Hill had 6 targets, made 4 catches, 60 yards. He hasn't scored a touchdown, though, since Week 5. I have a feeling that's going to change this week. I really do think that's going to change this week.
No.
And the Tooch is still gone. His audio is still gone. I don't know what's going on, but that's all right. We'll let the Tooch try to figure it out real quick, and I'm just going to field this question. But Sammy Watkins, those targets have been sticking around 6 a game. If you get 6 targets against the Atlanta Falcons, you're probably going to have at least 60 yards and a score. I think Watkins is going to get targeted more because we talked about it. I can imagine. I'm going to put Tooch back in the stream here.
Can you hear me?
Nope, he's still gone.
What the heck?
But with with the coverage shifting over to Tyreek Hill, I think Sammy Watkins is going to have a big day today. So I'm trying to start Watkins wherever I can. We'll see if we can get the Tooch back in a second, but we're going to keep on rolling here. But great question, Joseph Ayala. Really appreciate that. Nope, Tooch is still gone.
How about now?
Yep, well, we're working on it. Little technical difficulties here.
I don't know what to do.
But I'm going to go ahead and move on here. We're going to start talking about our starts of the week. And Tooch is going to leave and come back. I'm going to encourage all of you guys right now, while I'm waiting for Tooch to come back, make sure you follow us at FFB Goon. You can follow us. Oh, the Tooch is back.
I don't know why this is happening, but I didn't really. I have to leave and come back for it to get it to work. I don't know.
That's bizarre, but anyway, we're happy to have you back, Tooch. We got the audios.
What were you talking about again? It was Watkins and.
Oh, I was talking about Watkins and his targets, and he's had roughly around 6 targets a game lately, and I expect that to go up today against the Falcons.
Yeah, and again, we like this as a high-scoring game. Also, we talked about if he's got Keenan Allen out, we talked about Tyrone Johnson.
Yeah, I like him too.
Decent player.
Yep, and I was just imploring everyone to remember to follow us on Twitter at FFBGoon, at Joe Mandel, and at Santucci_John, and of course the Barroom Network at Bears Barroom.
There might be some guys. I mean, Russell Gage might be out there. There's KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick, replacements you might look at for Keenan Allen. Tyrone Johnson, of course. Jalen Guyton, guys who are on the Chargers.
Absolutely. And Swamp Nola's got a great question here about defense. Should I be worried about the Colts defense, or should I stream this football team against Carolina?
I still like the Colts defense.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what the Steelers have been doing the last couple of weeks. They've been horrible. I love the football team as a streamer this week, but I think the Colts have been pretty damn good all year long.
Roethlisberger's got no problem throwing picks.
Especially on the road.
Right. So I think they're at home, but I mean, Big Ben is I don't know whether he's hurt, but he's been getting sacked a lot.
Yeah, so. And you're right. The Steelers are at home. But I still think I'd stick with the Colts. Just they've been the better unit all year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'll be a low-scoring game too. But Washington's defense is good too. I just Carolina can put up some points though too. They have some talent at wide receiver and running back.
Yep, it's going to be an interesting game to watch. That's for sure. But Tooch, I was just going to get into our starts of the week before. We start to get out of here. It's hard to believe this is our last Sunday, our last show of the year, really, until after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sad. We have to wait till next year to draft again. All that stuff. All the good stuff that comes with fantasy. And
and there is a lot of good stuff that comes with fantasy. It's fun, and most of all, it's just good camaraderie, good time.
It's such a long off season of torture without
It is time for our starts of the week, Tooch, and I'm going to have to retool mine because I picked Ryan Tannehill against the Packers, and now that's going to be snowy and windy. I think it's more of a Derrick Henry game, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to Jalen Hurts against the Cowboys.
I like it. Yeah, I also could have gone Baker Mayfield, who's been lighting it up in this past few weeks. But good pick. I like Hurts as well.
Yeah, I'm actually updating this so that the ticker is changed.
Right.
Why don't you talk about your start of the week, Tooch?
Well, I like Mitchell Trubisky. And Jaguars have been giving up a minimum like 22, 23 points per game to the quarterback, fantasy points. So I took Mitchell True.
I like that. And now, as everyone knows, most likely watching this, the Bears now control their own destiny, Tooch. If you win out, you win this week against the Jags, next week against the Packers, you're into the playoffs.
Yeah, and you gotta. Forget the argument that the Bears should tank was just ridiculous. it doesn't matter what your draft position is. What matters is you have to pick guys that can play. It doesn't matter if you're picking 8th or 10th or whatever, 8th or 14th.
All you got to do is get hot at the right time, Tooch.
There you go. Yep.
And the Bears are definitely getting there. That's for sure. But so that's our QB starts of the week, Tooch. What about now? You're gonna have to change your running back selection here, obviously, because this game already happened. But I took Le'Veon Bell against the Falcons. I do like him a lot, especially in a PPR role, in a flex spot. But Tooch, you had Ahmed who ended up not getting the start because Gaskin came back.
We talked. We said if it's Gaskin playing, we like Gaskin, but we didn't. At that point, Gaskin wasn't playing on Tuesday.
And you would have been 100% right because you said as long as Gaskin plays, he would go off, and he sure did. But who do you got this Sunday, today, as a good running back start?
Now let's take a look. We talked about Divino Zigbo, like that start.
Yeah, I do like a Zigbo, and he's available in like 99% of leagues.
Because of the touches. I like David Johnson. Talked about that. I like Gio Bernard today. I think I'm going to stick with Johnson.
David Johnson, I like it.
Yeah. I also like Gio Bernard in this one, though, too. But I'll take David Johnson today to have a solid game.
And we got a great question here from Michael Torres, Tooch. Cole Beasley or Tyler Lockett, PPR, what do you guys think?
Well, Cole Beasley is your sit of the week, and I like Tyler Lockett as the sit of the week.
I was going to say, I hate both of these guys this week. Rams secondary, very good. Last time Cole Beasley played against the Patriots, he was held to 2 points. Patriots very good against the slot. Beasley's just not great against them. So I don't like Cole this week. I don't like Lockett this week. I would say go on waivers and pick up Tyron Johnson for the Chargers. Keenan Allen's going to be out. Johnson's going to get all of his looks probably.
I like that. Yeah, I don't like either of these guys. I think I would put Tyler Lockett was one of my sits. I mean, he's going up. He's got a tough matchup this week. But, if you can't get anybody out of those two, I think I'd take Beasley. That's just me.
I mean, he's had the better year overall.
I don't know though. I mean, both of those guys I don't think are going to get you more than 10 points.
Yeah, I think both of these guys are going to have a rough day. But if you had to go with one, I'd say go with the guy who's had a better season, and that's Cole Beasley. We also have another question here from Bills Mafia Bob. Pick 2: Hunt, Carson, McKissick, or Gibbons.
Gibbons, is that Gibson? Who's Gibbons? Dobbins?
You mean Dobbins?
Gibson is Antonio Gibson.
Yeah. Let us know, Bob, if you're talking about Antonio Gibson or J.K. Dobbins. I think you put both of their names together. Either way, I like Kareem Hunt going against the Jets. I think that's for sure.
Carson's got a tough matchup against the Rams. McKissick, I mean, you can always count on him for like 10 points at least. But so Antonio Gibson, he's got the turf toe. I'm probably going to take those Hunt and Carson, the first two, just because those are the studs.
Yeah, I mean, those are two guys that are the safest play here. So I would say Hunt and Carson as well.
Yeah, I mean, McKissick had a huge game last week, so it's tough, but
And getting back to our wide receiver starts of the week, I have Jameson Crowder today going against the Browns. He's a PPR machine. The Browns' defense in the secondary has been spotty as of late.
They've got some injuries in the secondary.
Yeah, they're banged up for sure.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, pretty good game. So I think he got you 13, 14 points.
Yeah, he did well.
So not bad.
That Saints team was just Alvin Kamara's show.
Yeah. I mean, we thought that would be a high-scoring game. We just didn't think Alvin Kamara would get 6 touchdowns, and who could predict that? But Emmanuel Sanders, I think, did pretty well.
And Tooch, correct me if I'm
Well,
wrong, but I'm pretty sure your start of the day today, this Sunday at wide receiver, would probably be Tyron Johnson.
I like it. Yeah, I like that matchup again. I mean, he's probably going to get you 10, 15 points. So in a flex, that's pretty good.
That's really good. So I love that. Let's go down to tight end, Tooch. I'm going to go with Logan Thomas as my start of the week against the Panthers. This guy has been a top 5 tight end the last couple weeks. He's just getting targeted, and he's making big catches. He's tall, big, strong guy. I love him this week. The Panthers not great against the tight end. Logan Thomas has been explosive. I like him next year as a top 5 tight end as well.
That's what we said on Tuesday. We liked him next year too, so it'll be a good pickup. I mean, it's a guy, Logan Thomas, you probably get him, 8th, 9th, 10th round next year? You know?
Probably.
And probably do pretty good if you miss out on Kelsey and Waller. So.
And who you got, Tooch?
I'll take Austin Hooper versus the Jets. The Jets are one of the worst teams against the tight end. So I like Austin Hooper to get you, double digits at the tight end.
I love it, brother. And we talked about my sit of the week. I'm going to take Cole Beasley against the Patriots. He was shut down at 2 points last time they played. The Patriots defense been playing better as of late, and they shutting down the slot. So I think Cole Beasley should stay on your bench.
Right, and I took Jonathan Taylor. However, there's so many injuries on the Steelers. I would say you could probably play Taylor today.
Normally, instead?
Normally the Steelers are pretty good against the run, but I think they're just missing. They're missing too many key guys on that inside of the defense.
You just dropped out again. Oh, you're back.
I'll take Tyler Lockett as a sit.
There you go. Tyler Lockett, tough matchup against the Rams.
Mm-hmm. So I think Russell Wilson will not have as much time to throw, and if he does throw, I think he's going to look for DK Metcalf.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. And Harish Santam's got a question in the chat room, Tooch. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Lazard, or Rager, PPR, I need a heavy boom potential.
Oh, boy. This is tough, Joe.
Well, we talked about the Packers game being in some bad weather today, Tooch. There's going to be snow. There's going to be high winds. But with that said, I don't love Rager either.
I don't either, but out of those three, I like him the best, I guess. I mean, MVS is probably a guy who has the best chance to break a long one. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how much they're going to throw. And I mean, with the snow, it might not be that high scoring of a game. I think I'll take Rager still, PPR.
I would say I would pick up Tyron Johnson off waivers if he's available and start him over all 3 of these guys.
I like it. Yeah, I like Johnson. I like you can look on the waivers for guys like Sammy Watkins and Russell Gage.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins a guy too. I like Watkins against Atlanta today. Mm-hmm. Even a guy like Marvin Hall, who's getting more involved, I like better than all 3 of these guys. Originally, I liked Lazard this week, but with the weather, I'm just scared.
Yeah, I agree.
And Tooch, getting back to our starts of the week, we're going to go super sleeper time.
I might try and look for Rashard Higgins, too. I think he's been putting up. He's had at least 5 catches and 60 yards in his last 5 games. And
Baker Mayfield is going to toss it a lot today.
He sometimes gets you a touchdown, too. So, I mean, with 5 catches, 60 yards, that's 11 points right there. So.
That's right. And going on to super sleepers of the week, we both have Texans we chose in this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Chad Hansen, the Will Fuller replacement, going up against the Bengals. This is their deep threat. He's their big guy, and the Bengals secondary not very good.
I have Jordan Akins, the tight end. The Bengals are the worst against the tight end. So let's see how that works out for Akins. I've been going to that well for a while, but
both of these guys very cheap in daily fantasy.
Yeah,
could be great options if you're trying to.
Akins is a guy he's similar to Logan Thomas. They're kind of built about the same size, speed. It's just waiting for Akins to break out.
Yeah, that's right. And a quick reminder to everybody, we are 8 minutes away from kickoff here.
Oh, yeah.
So do not forget, get us your last-minute questions. We're going to answer them here on the air.
I've got a long drive back to Des Moines from Chicago. So
yeah, Tooch has got to hit the road.
Yeah, I'll be watching, listening on the road. I won't be able to text with my buddies here, but I'll be listening to the Bears game. Would I like to stay and watch the Bears game? Sure, but that means I'm getting home at like 8, 9 o'clock at night, which is tough.
Yep, probably best to hit the road.
It's up to the wife, really.
Right.
The boss.
She the boss. But any of you last minute folks in there in the chat, you got a last minute question before you set your lineup. You got 7 minutes to do it before the early games. We're here to help you. We got a couple questions here. What do we got?
All right, here we go. Last minute questions.
Robertson, Kiki Kute or Pollard, half-point
I
PPR?
love Kiki today, man. I think Kiki's going to he's got that floor. He's got, he's getting targeted heavily. They don't have a lot of guys. I know. I like Mooney too. He's got Mooney also. I love Mooney. Is so crafty. It's hard to believe he's a rookie.
Between all those guys, I know Kiki's got a good matchup too, but they're going to use David Johnson a lot. Mm-hmm. I think I like Mooney against the Jaguars. This is a guy I think he's definitely going to score at least once. He's going to have a boatload of targets. I imagine he'll have 6 or 7, maybe 8 targets. Allen Robinson is active for this game, but I think he's going to draw a lot of attention.
He popped up on the injury report, didn't he, Joe?
He did.
Yeah, but he is playing. How effective he's going to be, well, if Allen Robinson goes out in this game for whatever reason, Mooney's going to be their number one guy. You'll see Anthony Miller too, but
yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of Mooney in this game. I think he's going to be an emphasis in this offense today.
Yeah, I do too.
So if I had to pick, I'd say I'd go with Mooney. Of course, if Zeke, well, you're not going to know about Zeke until later.
Kiki is a good start though too. Either of those guys, Kiki gets targeted. He's got a good floor, like probably 10 points. Mooney's a guy that could probably will get you 10 also. I think so. Joe's right, but Mooney could also explode into 20 points.
Yeah, I like the potential with Mooney to have. Mm-hmm. I think he could score twice today. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to have over 6 targets. I think against the Jaguars, I think you got to take that chance in a championship game. So do you
think? Even if the Bears get out to a lead, they still don't run the ball like they should. To put the game away, salt the game away. So I think Mooney's safe. But the Texans, like you said, they're going to hit David Johnson. They got Chad Hansen. They've got Jordan Akins.
Yep.
So I think I'll take Mooney as well.
Yep, I love it. Great question, Jalen. Really appreciate the question. And while Tooch and I are here with you guys, and if you have any last minute questions, this is the part of the show and part of the season that we thank all of you. Fantasy season has been amazing this year. It's been escape from the reality of all the craziness with COVID, even though we had to deal with it in a fantasy capacity. We just want to thank all you guys for being with us all year long. Everyone in the chat room, and I know we have another question from Sarah Riley we're about to take in just a second, but I just want to thank everybody here who listened, who tuned in, who shared, who bought a t-shirt, any of you guys that supported us in any way. A huge thank you from both Tooch and myself. We love you guys.
Amen.
And we do have a question from Sarah here. We're going to answer this quickly before kickoff. Half-point PPR, Carson, Gibson, or Robert Woods. That secondary for the Seattle Seahawks is not good at all. I'm taking Robert Woods here, Tooch.
Yeah, I would say in order to be Woods, Carson, then Gibson. I don't like that turf toe injury. I know he's cleared to play and stuff. I don't know how much he'll play.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see that much out of Gibson today. I think you'll probably see a 50-50 split with him and McKissick.
I like Woods. Woods is their guy.
Yeah, Bobby Trees has been tearing it up for them in L.A., and I really like him against Seattle. Jared Goff as well. I think Robert Woods is going to have a big day, and I think that's the exclamation point that you need. So I'd say I'd go with Robert Woods here.
Yeah, I'm with you. Woods, Carson, and Gibson. Those are the order I would take.
Yep, and I'm going to go ahead and thank everyone that was in the chat today, Tooch. We had Aldo Gandia, who was in the chat, Adam Schaum, our longtime listener and friend, Coach Dish, Christopher Gonzalez, Wizard of This Place, Ron Rupnow, our buddy Ron, of course, Ravi Come Up, Joey Perp, Willie Terry Jr., Von Hook, Joey Perp, Sleeping Angels, Ryan Voigt, MN Sizzle, Trey S., Connor Gorzinski, Joseph Ayala, Swamp Nola, Michael Torres, Bills Mafia Bob, Harish Santim, Jalen Robertson, and of course Sarah Riley.
Lots of people in the chat, Joe.
Very, very active chat today. People want to win their championships, and damn right, who doesn't? Go win that championship. We thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for being with us all season long. And Tooch, we have a recap season coming up, a recap show of the fantasy season. We usually do it after the Super Bowl, and once we can start talking about the off season, I can't wait to do that with you shortly after the Super Bowl.
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great show. We'll have some good material for next season. Looking towards next season. And
of course, we have to thank the founder of the Barroom Network and super producer Aldo Gandia. We always thank you, Aldo, for letting us do the show every year. It means so much to us. You do so much to help us, not just our show, but all the amazing shows on this network. Yep. Before this, you had the Barfly Tailgate Boys doing a killer job with that show.
Yeah.
You've got Bear football today at halftime of the Bears game with John Buffone, Tyler Ellis, and of course Aldo Gandia. And then they have the post game right after the show with right after the game with Bear football as well, breaking down everything that you saw. Don't miss that.
We're about ready to kick off here.
So. We are about ready for kickoff. It's our last game. It's our last show of this year. It's been great being with you guys all season long. Love you from the bottom of my heart, Tooch. I have to thank you for having an amazing season with me. We made the jump to video. It was a successful one. We've had a ton of fun. We've had great guests. We've had Adam Rank, who joined us for a great Thanksgiving special. It was an unforgettable year. For as terrible as 2020 has been, Tooch, we have a lot to be thankful for with what we have and what we were able to do this year with the show.
Yep.
And with that said, we can't wait to come back next year. I'll toss it over to you, Tooch, for any last things you want to say or any people you want to shout out.
I just want to shout out all of the Barflies, people in the chat with the great questions. Aldo, of course, with the run in the ship, captain of the ship, and then check out all the other Barroom Network shows.
Yep, and Tooch, there's a very special show close to our hearts that's going to be coming back real soon.
I have a stream. We're talking streaming TV soon, probably right after the new year.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about Wonder Woman because I watched it. I don't know if you saw it yet, Tooch.
I got through half of it, Joe.
I was very underwhelmed, but we could talk about that during our review.
Exactly.
But a little teaser there. We'll be back talking streaming TV shows, movies, Netflix, the whole shabam, everything out there. Tooch, myself, Aaron Mikulski, Dan Aguirre. It's going to be a hell of a whole lot of fun. We'll be back. The chat room will be open. And we want to hear what you guys are watching. So show will be back soon. We can't wait for that.
I'm watching the Flight Attendants, Joe, on HBO Max.
I just started it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's crazy.
I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, so we're excited to be back. That'll be back soon. So it'll fill the void of the football off season. Lots of streaming TV shows. What better year than 2020 to watch streaming shows when you're locked up in your house?
Yep. There'll be great NFL draft coverage, too, coming up on Barroom.
There's no doubt about that. And the Senior Bowl, of course, all the guys from Draft on Tap will be covering that as well.
We'll be down at the Senior Bowl, Mobile.
So tons of great stuff coming up on the Barroom Network. We love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you for tuning in with us all year long. Tooch, kickoff's here. The Fantasy Championship is upon us.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. They control their own playoff destiny. And Tooch, let's go win a fantasy championship. I got to go win Adam Rink's league.
Yeah, good luck to everybody.
All of our listeners out there, good luck in your leagues. Thanks for tuning in all year long to the Fantasy Football Goon Show. Don't forget to follow us at FFB Goon, at Joe Mandel, at Santucci_John, at Bears Barroom. And then make sure you like us on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be doing all kinds of great stuff heading into next year. We love you guys. Go win those matchups. And God bless fantasy football. We'll see you guys next year.